Hey everybody, welcome to Old Iron Garage and thank you for tuning in. So today I'm in here in the garage, I'm at the workbench, and I'm going to be working on something for the Bolens G10 that I brought home early last year and got running last year in September, I think. So I have the starter off the tractor on the bench, and this is why. That starter gear shredded all the teeth off. Last year I'd got it running and driving and on 4 good tires and everything, and cleaned up and everything just in time to take it to the Napanee Power from the Past antique steam and tractor show. But while I was there, I had got it running, got it unloaded off the trailer, and was driving it over to the garden tractor section. And I was having carburetor issues, and it died. And I was trying to restart it, and I sheared all the teeth off of the starter. These plastic gears, you know, they work pretty good until they get to be so old, and then there goes all your teeth. But I would rather replace this little cheap starter gear than replace the flywheel with all the teeth on that. I'd rather this little plastic gear take all the wear and tear and replace that than a whole flywheel. So anyways, yeah, let's dive in. I've already got it cleaned up a bit. Not detail cleaned, but I've got it degreased. It was quite dirty, quite oily, and I've already got this little spring pin out, so I can just take this right off. But I wanted it off the tractor so I can bench test it to see how well it seemed to spin okay on the tractor, but I wanted to get it off the tractor and test it again, and maybe open it up, clean the inside, and, you know, grease the bearings or the bushings or whatever it has. So anyways, yeah, I actually already bench tested it, and it spun okay, but it seemed maybe just a little bit sluggish. And so yeah, let's dive in. This is the part needs replacing for obvious reasons. This is the part I ordered on Amazon. It's a Stens brand part. Stens makes pretty decent replacement parts, OEM style parts. Here is the part number, 150-292. Let's see how well it fits. I've already had it out of the package to look at it, and they look identical other than the color and the missing teeth on one. Let's see if it goes on. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So we have a good replacement gear, and this was like $6 and some cents on Amazon. It was pretty cheap. Oh yeah, that turns hard. I've not worked on as many Briggs & Stratton electric starters as I have the Tecumseh ones, but is that normal? Can you hear that? I'm sure you can hear that. I don't know if that's normal or not. It seems a little suspect. Let's take a look. I'm always nervous taking apart starters. Sometimes when you're taking apart an electric motor, you come across a setup where it's hard to get the... You're looking at it, scratching your head, trying to figure out how the heck do I get these brushes held back in so I can slide the rest of the motor in. So I'm always nervous taking it apart, wondering if I can get it back together. If I have to, I'll see if I can find a part number on here and look it up, Google it, YouTube it, something. That would be why. A magnet has come loose. How do you fix that? How do you fix that? Come on. See, one is further out than the other. Yeah, that's not good. That magnet is not supposed to come out. So not only is that in need of repair, but also now this thing is in need of a thorough cleaning as well. I know that guys have used like JB Weld 2-part epoxy to glue a magnet back, or magnets back into a flywheel. I'm assuming I could do the same thing here, but I'm unsure and I am going to Google it. So this will be continued after a little bit of research. I will bring you guys back. It's going to be in the same video. I'm not going to make it a separate video for it. But yeah, I'll bring you guys back after I know more. Alright, I'm back. So yeah, I took the time to clean up all the parts and pieces. And everything is nice and clean and degreased. Yep. I spent some real time cleaning this thing up real good. I used kerosene, got everything wet with kerosene and brushed it clean real good. And then I still need to blow this out with compressed air and hit it with brake cleaner one more time. But then scrubbed everything with brushes and then hit it with the brake cleaner to get everything off. And I Googled what the correct repair would be, which I kind of figured you could probably repair it with JB Weld original, because that's what that's the common repair for loose flywheel magnets. And I imagine flywheel magnets probably get a little bit hotter than starter magnets. Maybe, maybe not. If one gets hotter than the other, it'd probably be the flywheel magnets. And also, the flywheel magnets are spinning at up to 3,600 RPMs-ish, depending on the engine. And this will not be spinning. These magnets, at least, will not be spinning. They will be stationary. So, I was going to get JB Weld Original, but I went to the dollar store for supplies, and all they had was JB Quick. So that's what I got. But yeah, I got supplies. Supplies. Anyways, so yeah, let's dive back into this and get a magnet glued on. Okay, so the surfaces are prepped, and I have the magnet in there, in place, evenly spaced on both sides, and spaced properly this way, like depth, and I have it marked. I have the corners marked and whatnot. That corner's broken out, so like I kind of had to mark it differently, but yeah, anyway. And I'm ready to take that magnet back out. I've given the paint marker some time to dry. I'm ready to take the magnet back out and mix up and apply the JB Weld. Okay, so I was going to mix the JB Weld up off camera, but because this is JB Quick, it's quick to set up, so I'm just going to have the camera rolling already and get this stuff mixed up. And on there, I'm going to mix up more than what I will need, because I want to make sure I have enough and don't have to mix up more, because by the time I mix up more, what I initially mixed up is going to be starting to set up already and will be useless. So I'm going to mix plenty. This stuff is not expensive, so not worried about it. I'd rather get it right the first time. And not have to try again. I have used JB Quick many times in the past. I prefer JB Weld, but I use JB Quick if I'm in a pinch and I need a repair now or same day. This sets up way faster and cures quite a bit faster as well. So it is set up. Let us start applying it. I cleaned all surfaces, cleaned and prepped all surfaces, and also cleaned the screwdriver so as not to contaminate the JB Weld. The only problem with using the screwdriver to apply it is it's magnetic. I don't know, I didn't think of that before. I'm applying it to a magnet. So yeah, it's wanting to pull the screwdriver in. I have to be careful that it applies a thin layer and not just scrapes it off. There will be plenty that squishes out. We will take some of that off. Let me get this out of my way. Now, to get this in there without it just, going click right to the right to the casing. This could be interesting. This is probably going to make a mess. I'm going to try my best to hold it off. Come on, go, 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 go. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now to position it. Good, good. Everything's going well. I'm sorry you can't be right in here and see what I'm seeing. I will show it to you once I have it positioned and pushed down and ready to clamp. Okay, so it's got to come through a little bit further and over a little bit. going to start squeezing it with my hand. Nice. Okay, because I want it to squish out, you know, the majority of it, so that the magnet isn't standing up too far off of the body of the starter. Okay, so it's got to go over a little bit. Got to rotate a little bit until okay. So let me get this cleaned off of my hand. And ew, come on, get off. And off of my nice screwdriver. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I like Harbor Freight tools. I have plenty of other brands, but I really like my Harbor Freight tools because they are inexpensive, you know, they are affordable, and they usually work. They usually will get the job done. And I mean, what more do you need? Now, in some cases, there are some Harbor Freight tools that are not worth buying. But here I have these Milwaukee brand screwdrivers. These are great. I love them. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have bought them for myself, but they were a Christmas gift from a boss at a company that I worked at in the past. So yeah. Anyway, they're great. No complaints about them. Very well made. Actually, I'm going to, before I show you guys, I am going to probably apply just a little bit. It's already setting up. It's too late. Yep. This stuff is quick. See if I can take some of this off at least, though. I should be able to. It's not that well set up yet. Just need to make sure it's not in the way of the ends going on, really. The ends of the starter casing. Come on, get off of there. It's starting to really set up on my fingers. This is one reason why JB Weld, regular original JB Weld, would be the better choice. I mean, you got to work fast with this stuff. But you get fast results too. And original JB Weld is actually a bit stronger, so a little bit more heat resistant. But this stuff, I looked up the specs on it, and it should do the trick. There we go. There we go. Yep, it's in there. But now I gotta hurry up and clamp it. A couple of these. And now we wait. Yep, time to wait. So anyway, yeah, check this stuff out. Look at that. It's warm. I mean, you know, a lot of two-part epoxies will get warm as they start to set up. Yeah, that was, like the name suggests, that was pretty quick. And I knew it would be that way. I've used this stuff many times in the past. Works well. I just hope it works well for this. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. But anyways, I will bring you guys back later. I'm probably going to go inside and make my dinner because it is probably about somewhere between 10:30 and 11 o'clock right now. So probably closer to 11 o'clock right now. And yeah, I'll bring you guys back in a while, probably after I've eaten dinner. And by then, this thing should be ready to assemble and bench test. Alrighty, it has been some time. I ended up not going inside and making dinner. I will do that when I'm in for the night and after I've showered. So, I have the clamps off. This is not cured, but it is hard enough that I can, it's not fully cured, but it is cured enough that I can reassemble, and honestly, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to bench test it. That magnet is not going anywhere. Not without adding, you know, a few hundred degrees of heat to it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just making sure, making one last final check that there's no JB weld in the way anywhere that would interfere with the armature spinning or with the ends going on this casing. Looks pretty good. Let's get you guys down here and let you see the finished product real quick. So, before I show you the finished product, I want to say that off camera, I went ahead and assembled this portion of the motor right here. I put some grease on the end of the shaft and on both sides of the little washer that goes on that end. And I made a little modification to this end cap that allowed me to, sorry about that, do something to hold all four of the brushes in place and out of the way so I can get the armature installed on this end cap. So this assembly is cleaned, greased, and reinstalled together and ready to go in there. If you want to see what I did to this, make sure you find the video. It'll be uploaded about the same time as this video, and watch that video. It's a nice little hack. Anyways, so here it is. I did on both ends put some JB weld and smear it with my finger. And then I made sure to smear off, you know, once you get like 1/8 of an inch or so out from the magnet, I made sure to smear it off completely so that it won't interfere with the cap going on the end here. Same thing on this side. I wanted to do on both all the way around, but decided not to. If this ever comes loose, then when I do it again, I will make sure to do it that way. And then I'll also do the other magnet as well, all the way around with some JB weld. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing assembled. Alrighty, so we're going to start here. So I mentioned that I greased the other end. I added a little bit of grease. We're going to do the same. You didn't get to see me do it on that end. I did it off camera, but you're going to get to see me do it on this end. So you just pull off that washer. I always keep whatever grease is left over in the end of a tube. I always hang on to it. I scrape it out and I put it into a container. It's better than throwing it away. It's like getting free grease for you to like. I use it to like smear on things, just like this. And yeah, once you get enough of it, you basically got a free tube of grease. It wasn't free because you paid for it, but it's grease that would have otherwise been thrown away. Come on, need more than that. It does not take a lot. I have the overhead door open and I keep hearing a noise. So I'm just checking to see if somebody or something is there. I have had, animals wander into the garage late at night when I'm in here. Usually a domesticated animal, somebody's dog or cat that got loose. And of course, I make friends with them and I sit there and pet them until they decide to go. One time I had somebody's cat crawl up in my lap and settle down for a nap, and I was like, okay, no, you're doing too much. You're gonna overstay your welcome if you think you're gonna sleep there on my lap all night. I'm not staying out here all night. So then you put that washer on, and that pushes the grease down where it's on one side of the washer. Now we got to put grease around. I should show you what I'm doing, I guess. I put grease around the shaft, push the washer on, the washer push the grease down so it's greased on one side of the washer. Now we have to put grease around the shaft again, so when we slide the other end of the starter motor on, it pushes that grease down onto this side, the outside side of the washer. The side that is facing me right now. And then that'll also leave a thin film of grease between the shaft and the bushing. Alright. Put the rest back in that tube and wipe the excess off my fingers. I'm actually going to clean my hands real quick because the outside of this case, remember I cleaned it with the last thing I cleaned it with was brake cleaner. So it is all prepped and ready for paint. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and just paint this thing, make it look a little bit nicer while it's off. Why not? So I don't want to get grease on the outside, so I'm going to clean my hands with brake cleaner again. I always clean my hands with brake cleaner when I'm handling something that's about to be painted. I am going to spray and wipe down the outside one last time once it's fully assembled and right before I paint it. Okay. So now we put this on, and there's a certain way it goes on. There's a couple of spots in here that stick inward, and then they line up with a spot in there. So now let's, come on now. I think I got it right. Nope, maybe not. No! I'm an idiot. I just pulled the armature out. I'm an idiot. So you're going to get to watch me No, never mind. I don't want this video to be too long. If you want to see how I held all 4 brushes in while installing the armature in the this end cap here, go find that other video. And like I said, it will be uploaded probably at the same time this video is uploaded. So I will be back in a little bit. I'm back. I'm frustrated, but I'm back. So trying to figure out how I want to do this. Okay. Oh shit. No, 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 no. Do not. You about heard me say a word. You about heard me say a word. Okay. I see how it goes now. But okay. So that lines up with that. Gotcha. Yeah, there's some alignment stuff in there to make sure that you have everything aligned properly. But yeah, I have to have a finger on here to hold it down while I put this together. There we go. She's lined up. And no, she's not. No matter. I'm gonna hold this down and rotate it until she is. There we are. Gotcha. Now the gap between the magnets, you're looking right below my finger here. You'll see that it lines up with that hole, that screw hole. You see these long bolts have to be able to pass between the magnets to reach the other end. The screw holes in the other end. All right. I'm gonna actually go ahead and also add just a little bit of grease. Not a lot, just a little bit inside this bushing. Just rub it around in there. Make sure it is well greased. And then these holes also have to line up. This cover is not magnetic at all, so will not be an issue. There we are. Right there. Yep. So now I just have to make this go in. There's a little lip that goes inside of here on this cover, and it had a little corrosion on it that I forgot to clean off. So yeah, before I forget, I'm going to wipe the grease off my punch before I accidentally touch it and get greasy. Now I'm also going to put a little grease on these just because it is steel going into aluminum. They were not seized in there. They did not damage the threads pulling them out, but I mean, steel and aluminum do have a tendency to do that, so I'm going to grease them. So I sometimes use grease as the same way you would anti-seize, it's just more readily available. Because I always have grease here, but if I'm out of anti-seize, you know, then obviously I don't always have anti-seize here. So, yeah. And it works fine. Sure, anti-seize works a little bit better, but the grease still works fine. It definitely helps. So, yeah. Alright. Now we're going to tighten these up. Remember, you're threading into aluminum, so don't overdo it. Just good and tight, not overly tight. Now let's bench test it. So, to bench test, I'm gonna just squeeze the mounting flange where it bolts to the engine block in my vise. My vise is already grounded. I got jumper cables hooked up to a battery. You know what? I'm going to bring you guys over here for this. All right, let's test it. Beautiful. Spins like it should. Now, I am going to I'm actually going to kind of polish up that shaft. So I got some fine grit sandpaper here. I'm going to spin it. I got some lubricant on there. My sandpaper, I'm going to spin it and I'm going to polish it up. There we are. It had a little bit of rust and corrosion, and I didn't want it to have any in there for obvious reasons. Do not even think about rolling off the bench. Seriously. Are you kidding me right now? All right. I'm thinking. You know, isn't this supposed to? Maybe this one doesn't, but don't these usually have a spring, like a return spring, to push it back, push the gear back afterwards? This one did not have that, like, at all. I will assemble it how it was. I mean, it seemed to work fine, so maybe it doesn't. Sorry about the shakiness. Maybe this one doesn't get a return spring. And then, before I put it back on the tractor, I will go ahead and look that up. But, anywho, now, I'm going going to go ahead and get this on here. I'm going to put it together and test it again, but then I'm probably going to pull this gear back off and put some tape around here on the plastic and then hit this thing with some paint. Got it all sanded nice and smooth, and yeah, she's going to get a little bit of paint. I'm going to put some grease on the shaft so it'll be grease inside here so it will not rust up. Basically anything that I don't want to rust or to run dry gets a little bit of grease. Can't hurt, you know. There we are. And let's throw this pin in there. That's good enough. I'm not going to even it out because I'm going to take that back off anyways to paint it. Yep. So now let's bench test it again with that on there now, this time. One moment. I guess it doesn't really need a spring. I mean, it's returning on its own right now, but also the engine turning will keep this turning and force it back. Yeah. That is one happy, healthy starter motor. Alright. Alright guys, there it is in satin gloss black. Yep. Anywho's, it's a starter motor. Looks brand new. Runs like brand new. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Let me know. Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you want to see more content like this in the future, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. And I will see you in the next one. Later.